stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the style of the podcast that you're used to. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thanks for talking about us. Thanks for sharing, communicating. Thanks for telling a friend. That's the most important thing. We appreciate you sharing and letting everybody know about what we're doing. I'm Pastor Dave, sitting at the table with me, Randall, the armor bearer. We are
They That Believe.
I'm a happy boy today. Oh, I got to tell people and give them the rap about what we do. We talk about anything we want to talk about. Church culture, pop culture, entertainment news, current events, a little bit of geek news, and all filtered through a lens of lifestyle Christianity. Okay, yeah, so I'm a happy boy today. Everybody should notice, if everything goes according to plan, it looks like it is. We have new equipment, new machines. I'm so happy. I have been so unhappy so far with the sound quality of what we had going on. And well, I'll talk about that in a minute, because I'm a happy boy for two reasons today. One, because we got new equipment, and because we sound so much better. And we're, 5-6 episodes in. We have a guest. We have our first guest today. We searched far and wide. We went through a bunch of resumes and
applications.
We chose our first guest. We have with us today Gretchen.
Yay.
Introduce yourself and tell people who you are.
I'm Gretchen. I'm Pastor Dave's wife.
We're married to each other. See how that works?
Yeah.
We have an anniversary coming up. I've been talking about us doing possibly doing an anniversary pod, like a +1, because our anniversary is on October 28th, right?
9th.
I messed that up in a previous episode. But like I said, I have a meeting scheduled on the 28th, and I've had that on my mind. And I remember it because it's the day before anniversary. But anyway, no, it's October 29th. So Gretchen's with us today, and we'll see how that goes. If we can keep her close to the mic and keep her speaking up so everybody can hear her. All right, so back to our new equipment. So here's what's going on. We started with an old junky laptop and some really nice microphones, some nice condenser microphones. However, as nice as those were, they really weren't the right tool for the job. And they pick up a lot of room noise, and they were really hard to get leveled out. And they had a nice interface that was running from the microphones to the computers, but that interface was really working overtime trying to make those condenser mics communicate and cooperate with that old junky laptop. So we're not even doing that anymore. We've got a nice Zoom recorder interface that we're recording straight into. Plus, we're using some new microphones that I'm super excited about. I've got the Electro Voice RE320, which is making my voice sound silky smooth. And,
it looks fancy.
Yeah, doesn't it, though? It looks professional. So I have some friends that have been trying to turn me on to something for a couple of years now. They're some former people that I know that used to work in radio that have found a way to pick up extra money recording and reading audiobooks at home.
Yeah.
And I've had so many different people tell me, you need to do this, you need to do this. And, you just, like we're doing here, you just turn on your stuff and you read books and you send it to them. And if people buy the books, you can make a little extra scratch. So that ain't too bad. Now that I finally got the right kind of stuff, that may be something I'll look into.
In your spare time?
Yeah, all right. Because everybody knows I need at least one or two more things to do.
Right.
So here's what happens with the new equipment. Now we're sitting at the kitchen table, so you still may hear a little bit of room noise or a little bit of echo, but not much. And these dynamic microphones are pretty good about that. They don't pick up a whole lot of extra stuff around. So, and you'll hear rabies tags rattling because the dogs are walking around and hitting the food dish and stuff. So, talking about this new microphone here that I'm absolutely in love with. You guys quit knocking the stuff now.
That was the dog's fault. That
Yes.
wasn't Gretchen.
So the Electro Voice, the RE320, this new mic that I'm so in love with, it arrived in town yesterday and actually made it all the way to my door. Now, I'm a day sleeper. I work holidays, nights, and weekends. So if you're going to call me or knock on the door or anything or ring the doorbell during the day, you're going to wake me up. You're going to have to. And the postman left a bunch of packages and then the little card, the note that says, look, we got something else for you. You got to sign for it. Now, I can't swear, and if I had to be sworn in court, I couldn't swear that he didn't ring the doorbell. I don't know. I may have slept through it. But the dogs didn't bark, and they would usually bark or wake me up, so I don't know. No big deal. Because I'm getting up to go into work. It's like coming up on 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm like, well, I'll just run into town, as I go into work, and I'll stop at the post office and pick up my new microphone. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun just passed its meridian. They're closed. They're closed because apparently the post office is only open for like 17 minutes.
Yeah, 17 and a half minutes.
during the weekday and like 23 minutes on Saturday or vice versa or something like that. And they close at like 11 or 11:30. So
11:30, yeah.
Yeah, so here's, what if folks, they can't even, it's bad enough like they can't come after work. Like I'll get off work and run to the post office. Forget that. You're not going to. But you can't even like go on your lunch break. Unless you have like an early lunch or something, and that's 17 minutes they're open if they don't take breaks or close the window or stuff. So I got up this morning and went to the post office to get my new microphone and all that. I know first world problems, right? I had to go a whole mile and a half down to the post office, but
the best is my parents. They just moved here from Knoxville, and the road they live on now, you're not allowed to have mailboxes. So you actually have to go to the post office to get their mail. And the post office is open until like 11:30 at 17 minutes with a 15-minute break. So they have to now go to the post office every day and get their mail, and they're not happy about it.
They don't have a rural mail route, something like that?
It's they live on a small street, and I guess the street's just too small for mail. I don't know how it works.
Huh.
But they've got a P.O. box now.
Yeah. Well, I know they're in the it used to be this way. I think they have a rural mail route now, but like in Gibson, they didn't have a rural mail route, and for the longest time, and everybody in Gibson had a post office box. I think that's different now. So yeah, and talking about that thing, and I guess it's a money thing because the post office was floundering or struggling, and there was a bunch of other stuff they did. I remember they took like the postage machines out of the post, which I didn't understand that either. No, if you're gonna keep less hours and service time, it seems like the postage machines would.
Automation there would probably be better.
I don't know, or maybe folks are getting them online, stamps.com and all that kind of stuff. So, and it's been a couple of years ago. Gretchen and I went to a restaurant in Paris, nice restaurant, one of those. Okay, we'll go, and I'm gonna spend a little extra money, and we'll have the food's probably not so great, but you go for the experience,
the atmosphere,
and then you pretend afterwards like the food's good.
Yeah.
But we go over there, and it was, and I don't want to ding them, so I'm not going to say where, but it was in the Paris area, and
not France,
not Paris, France,
Tennessee,
Paris, Tennessee. So 6 o'clock in the evening, and it was like, do you remember? It was like a Friday night. It was a weekend, wasn't it? A Friday, a Saturday, or something like that. So we go up there 6 o'clock, 6 in the evening, and they're like, "Oh, we're sorry, we're closing." Now, if you run a restaurant and you serve hungry people, and it's 6 o'clock on a Friday evening, what do you think one might expect?
That's when things start rolling, don't they? About 6 o'clock.
Dinner, perhaps. I mean, what do you do in the approximate area of 6 o'clock on a normal evening? We eat dinner. And I understand not everybody serves breakfast. I get that. And although I think that's kind of I'm seeing more and more restaurants advertising their breakfast. So I think that's coming back and stuff.
Breakfast is probably cheaper to make. They probably make more money on breakfast than they do on dinner.
Yeah, never thought of that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Eggs are cheap, and
bacon and eggs, $10.
Yeah,
depends on where you get it.
Right.
Maybe you're at a restaurant, you get them wholesale or something like that. And sometimes lunch is hit or miss. I know some places will close down in the afternoon or maybe after lunch. But why are they doing that? To prepare for dinner.
Right.
To prepare for the dinner crowd. 6 o'clock in the evening, nice expensive restaurant, closed.
We used to have a restaurant in Dyer over here that was closed on Saturdays. They're open all through the week, but they're closed on Saturdays. So I thought that was weird. So Saturday would be like your busiest day. Everybody home, people going out at night.
The restaurant?
Yeah.
I would come closer to thinking Friday evening, but still, I don't. Is it the way that our cultures go? I mean, you would think people want business.
You think they need it to keep the doors open and stuff.
It just seems like there's a lot of employees that want to be off on Saturday.
Yeah, but they don't own the business. They're not dictating. I mean, if it's my restaurant and I own it and I want to make some money and I'm going to serve hungry people dinner at 6 o'clock in the evening. I heard a guy talking about this actually just this past week. He called in a radio show, and he's a small business owner. He was talking about this new generation of people, this new generation of young people who are working. And he's like, back in the days, like if we wanted a day off, we would schedule a vacation day, maybe a little in advance, or if you weren't feeling well, you called in sick, maybe you took a sick day if there was a reason, if you had a doctor's appointment or if you didn't feel well. And he's got employees now, he says, coming to him, and they're like, I'm just not feeling it today. I think I just need to go home. And
Yeah, you just need to go home and stay.
Yeah, for no good reason. I'm just not feeling it today. And the other one, he said he had a girl that works for him. She's like, I need a personal day. I got to do me for a while or something like that.
Wouldn't that be nice?
And then it's like, do you not feel well? Nah, I'm just not feeling it today. I think I just need to leave for a little.
That is where our culture is headed. Me.
Yeah, it's well, here's the thing. If you raise somebody, if you grow up in space and you never experience gravity and you grow into a young adult and you come back to Earth and you step out of the capsule, you're not prepared.
Right.
You melt and become rubber, and gravity soon takes hold. And I think that's what we've got in our culture. We're raising people, or bringing it. I don't want to say raising. It sounds like it's all kids. I don't think it's just that. I think it's the culture that's we're practically or figuratively raising people or growing up in space. We're going to have no concept of gravity at all.
No responsibility. No. I remember I started managing stores when I was like 19. I remember having the keys to the building and knowing that if I didn't show up, that place wasn't going to open. So I had to be there no matter what, unless I prepared for it way ahead of time. If I called the night before, if I had Ebola or something, and called the night before to get somebody to come in and open for me. I don't think people have that kind of responsibility. I think people are afraid to give them that kind of responsibility these days.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're listening to just this one person and I'm pretty sure that's representative of a lot of people, how or why would you? I mean, you're going to trust your business to people like that, a culture like that.
Then you get the folks that are responsible, they're getting way overworked because there's nobody else to give that responsibility off to.
Yeah. You don't want to paint with too broad a brush. I mean, there are some go-getters and some folks that work really hard and in a lot of minimum wage jobs, and but do you think? I mean, how much of that American dream formula still works? I mean, if folks really work, I mean, is it going to be recognized? Or
I wish it did. There was a time back when you listen to your grandparents or your parents talking where someone can graduate high school and go to work and show initiative and feed their family, buy a house, have a brand new Chevy out in the driveway. Now they want everybody's getting pushed into going to college after school, and they come out in the like little cookie cutter people that they can do one certain thing and that's it.
Well, and the thing is too, when we think about, I know my parents are a really good example. The people you talk about, going to work in the house and all that. People would work at the same job 30, 40 years. They live in the same house 50 years. Retire. People weren't as transient in employment and housing and things like. People settled in, and
There's an incredible work ethic back then.
Is that what it is?
Commitment.
Well, and the job landscape's changed too. Manufacturing jobs have gone away. The new jobs now are more service oriented. And do you want someone in your service business that's been there for 30 or 40 years? I don't know. It's just the whole climate of the jobs have changed. Manufacturing job, if somebody could manufacture a certain product over and over and over again for 30 years, by the end of that time, they're like the king Mac Daddy of building whatever that thing is. But in the service industry, things change so much and move, and technology moves in that, as you get older, you're probably not as easy to roll over to the new stuff.
I see. The desirable skill sets have changed a little.
Right.
Yeah, my stepdad's a good example of that. He's a simple man with a high school education, very smart and very bright, maybe not very educated, but he started but before I was born, working at Peterbilt in Madison or in Nashville, and I guess as a general laborer. And before he retired or before the plant closed, he was at the top of the chain of the plant inspectors, and that's just from experience.
Yeah,
he lived in the plant for 30-something years, knew what was going on, and was good. But now, like you say, there's so much more information and data, not really true knowledge. The internet gives us a lot of information, raw data, but not really knowledge, not really wisdom. And I don't want to knock it too much. I'm the first guy, when I go to put something together, I had something the other day. I don't even remember what it was. It was like, I need to know how to do this. I'll pull up a video on YouTube, and it'll show me I was programming a universal remote or something silly like that. And you can do that. I see it now, too, with the like guitar teachers and music teachers. You can take guitar lessons, you can pull up YouTube videos. And
the funniest I ever saw, we got the girls a Barbie Dream House for Christmas, and they had the instructions in it were one page. It was like a little comic strip, and it was these two little Barbies laughing at you, telling you that you couldn't put this thing together without this YouTube video. So you had to go to YouTube and watch them put this thing together.
You had to.
The funny part was the two little Barbies that were there laughing at each other, saying how stupid you must be to try to put this thing together on your own.
That actually makes sense. It's like that's what people are doing anyway. Let's embrace it.
Yeah.
Let's just, rather than pack this, and you save money not having to pack and print instructions. Maybe I had a friend of mine used to write those. That was like his job. He worked for Black & Decker.
Oh gosh, how boring!
And he wrote. I mean, he wasn't especially like a handyman kind of guy, but he was the writer. He wrote the instruction manuals and
was
stuff.
it that show Monk? Or wasn't Monk's brother an instruction writer or something?
I didn't watch that show. I'm familiar with it, but no, I didn't watch it.
He would everything he'd see, be like, oh, those are instructions 892-35. I wrote those.
All right, well, let's move on to something else. This isn't funny, talking about all these societal things. I mean, I know people are
getting serious.
People are appreciating my deep insight, but if you'll forgive me, we'll move on to something else. So, okay, we have a diabetic dog, right? She's probably, let's see, I got her full grown in 2005. She was maybe a year old then, so. To do the math for me, was a maker about 11 or 12 now. We don't really know for sure. Which pretty good for a dog, I guess. We call her Leela. She was named. You ever watch Futurama? Mm-hmm. She was named after Katie Seagal's character on the one-eyed, purple-haired Leela. And she's we call her a mini pincher. I don't know if she's full blood or any of that kind of thing. If folks that know dogs are familiar with dogs. There's the mini pinchers, the black and tans, the Manchester Terriers. They all look like the same dog. She's one of those. But she started last year kind of going downhill and had some problems with incontinence. And then in the past few months, started getting junk in her eyes. And basically, she's kind of gone blind and she was losing weight. So we figured out she's diabetic. My grandmother has taken in all kinds of dogs and it's weird because they all get diabetes, and she'd give them shots and stuff. And we were bound and determined we're not going to have a diabetic dog.
Do you think your grandma might feed them a bunch of sugar and stuff, and that's why they get that? Or
I think she gets them that way. She fostered dogs.
Yeah.
Because these little breeds, they don't need table food at all, and that's what causes it.
Yeah. And Leela was spoiled with table food before we even got her. So anyway, so Leela, she's got the diabetes, and Gretchen's been taking her to the clinic up the street. Is it Tri-City? Tri-City Animal Clinic. We really like them, right? So we can talk about them and tell people.
Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job for us. So she's been having to take the insulin shots. And here's the thing: I come in from work one day, and sitting on a counter is a little cup. And if you've ever worked a government job, or if you've been on the other side of that government job and you've had like community probation or something, you know what these cups are. They're clear, and then they have like the cup is clear, but has like maybe a red cap or an orange cap and
a little thermometer dealie on the side.
some,
Yeah.
maybe nicer ones,
The advanced.
the higher end ones, and like a little tape on the top or something. It's a specimen cup, and it's to hold urine. And yeah, why are you laughing? It is. So
I'm just imagining you running through the yard with this cup, chasing the dog.
not me. Don't bury the lead.
Oh, sorry.
Slow down.
Okay.
Slow down.
Getting ahead of things.
And I've filled a good handful of these in my day for employment.
You're an expert.
For
is what you're
employment. I don't know if I'm an expert, but
You're a pro.
you know, you do it enough and you get comfortable with it, and you develop some good lines.
Yep.
You know, you come out of the bathroom with a cup in hand, hand it to the lady, go, "You want cream and sugar with that?" That's one I use. You know.
Studied all night for this one.
Yeah, studied all night for this one. I go, "Here you go, bud. You know what? On a scale of 1 to 10, you're an 8."
Oh,
All right,
gosh.
So I come in, this cup's in here, and I'm like, okay, so that is what I think it is. She's got to get a urine sample from the dog, right? So I'm like, well, what do? You hand it to him? You know, wait a minute, we're supposed to come in there and watch you.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to watch you do it.
Don't flush.
Yeah.
So I come in. I'm here the other day, and Gretchen had not come home yet. I take the dog outside. The dog takes care of business. Come back inside. Within a few minutes, Gretchen shows up. She's got an appointment. I didn't know about the veterinary appointment, and she's got to get a sample to take. And I'm like, oh, well, we just took care of a little business. You know, the well may be a little dry. So she takes her outside, and she's got, I don't know what it is, some kind of another device, like a tray, like a reservoir to a spill trap or something to get the dog urine that you can then conveniently pour into the cup.
You ever wonder what the dog's thinking through this whole process? Like, here, what are you guys doing? Why are you stealing my pee? I mean, if you
I
want
think
it.
one thing on my side is that she's blind, so she can't see me coming after her.
So with hoping against all odds, Gretchen takes the urine device, the spill trap, and the dog outside, and we're on a mission to collect the urine. Now, you go ahead and tell the story from there and tell us what happened.
Well, she's a very private dog anyway, and she always wants to be where people can't see her, you know. And so I'm chasing her around. We eventually end up in the front yard. And even when I get the tray where it's supposed to be, she's like, "What are you doing?" And she moves away. Am I supposed to tell about when the neighbor girl comes?
Yeah.
And so one
That
of
was
the
the
neighbors...
best part of the whole story. right at the moment of liftoff. Interrupted.
Oh, man.
One of the neighbor girls comes along with what she's selling at school, and I should have just said, "Hang on just a second." But instead, I gave the dog some time, and I was like, "Well, let me look at what you got," you know. And then I looked behind her, and there she is doing what I needed her to do for me. And I said, "Ooh, that's the pee I was supposed to be getting."
That's what I was waiting for. Wait, I gotta get this pee.
Poor little girl, she goes, "I'm sorry."
Imagine you're seeing this. Hi, Miss Gretchen. Would you like to buy some to support the school? Wait, I gotta get this pee.
You know, that conversation came up at dinner that night, too. I was over trying to sell some stuff at Gretchen's house, and
Yeah.
there I was, and she was out there trying to collect that dog's pee.
Yeah, I guess I should have explained that it was for the vet.
It's probably better to keep them wondering. Just keep them guessing what
We
you're
don't
doing.
want them. We don't want to get them too comfortable coming around.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Speaking of, my phone's ringing.
Louis Armstrong.
Clifford Brown.
Ooh.
Strictly Romantic. So, speaking of urine, you guys took the church kids to the water park recently. Would you be so kind to regale us with tales from the water park?
Well, it was pretty good this year. There wasn't a whole lot of craziness happening. Man, I really can't think of anything bad that happened.
Well, that's interesting. That's the first place your mind went. Well,
Yeah.
let me think.
Except when you told the kids to go and they snuck off and got on slides again.
Well, actually, the kids didn't. It was Gretchen's brother that snuck off and got on the slide again.
Oh, no, was it really?
That does not surprise me. And I'm sure they followed his lead.
Yeah.
Right. So, speaking of that bunch, the Nathans, Nate and Nate. Mentioned in an earlier pod. Now we've got two Nates. One is Gretchen's brother, and the other is my son, Nathan. So the other day, Nathan is he's 13, and he's all boy, bad attitude and body odor, and he's a know-it-all, and I kind of was at that age too, so I get that.
Kinda. I was really a know-it-all at that age. I remember.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
I couldn't see that in you.
I was horrible.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry, Mom and Dad. I gotta apologize now.
Yeah, right. Our parents get smarter the older we get.
That's right.
Like that. So I come home, and Gretchen tells me that Nate has informed her he has evaluated our relationship. And what was it? We don't have enough romance, or how did he put it? Do you remember?
You need more romance in your relationship.
We need more romance in a relationship. So I take a moment, I kind of process this, and I'm looking at him, and what is it about your knowledge, experience, what leaves you in a position to evaluate my relationship, for one? And you kind of got to the source of this, because apparently these ideas had originated out of something that was happening with him, right?
Yeah. He was texting his girlfriend, who is also 13 years old. They were telling each other they loved each other. So he shows me his phone, and he goes, "You need like this, romance in your marriage like this."
Texting somebody, if you can text the word love, that's romance.
The last thing I wanted to see when I was 13 was my parents being romantic with each other. I don't know if you guys... That was way low on my priority list, to see my parents get romantic.
So he says that to her. She's telling me about it. She's telling me about him and talking to the girl and all that. So what's happening here is, now I'm kind of being set up. I'm getting the wind up in the pitch for a nice fatherly moment. You know, it's like, okay, send this one home, knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
You know, do your
very special episode.
Yeah, do your Bill Cosby, Danny Tanner. Now it's the time when the soft piano music plays, and I have to give some fatherly advice. So I put my hand on his shoulder and I said, "Well, Nathan, in life, sometimes you have to tell them women what they want to hear."
And that is grade A parenting advice right there.
And as good as nicer as these microphones are, there's no way to communicate to you the look. I got the look, man. And
I seem to remember saying, "No, men are not that shallow." Seriously.
Yeah, I get that question a lot. There's some variation of that. Are men really like that? Are you really or not? See, Gretchen is into like feelings.
Feelings, talking.
Yeah.
Hand holding, spooning.
All that kind of crap.
Why? Oh, gosh. So much time wasted.
This is the way my mind works. I was like, I got the setup, and I'm immediately like, hey, there's room here for a joke.
Yeah.
I got to get a joke in somewhere.
We'll give them some real life lessons.
Got to tell them women what they want to hear. You go to the gym, right?
Uh-huh.
You work out. Now, people go to the gym for different reasons. I know some want to, there's weight loss, weight training. I have a friend of mine who used to do, I can't even think about it, when they squat and do the lifts. Powerlifting.
Mm-hmm.
And was just a mountain of a man, barrel-chested, they say. And but his knees got bad later on down the road.
Yeah, that's bad for those.
And people do the cardio for that kind of thing. So what is it that you tell me about your gym experiences and motivation? What is it that you do, and which avenue you're trying to pursue in the area of fitness?
Well, I've got 3 daughters, and my main goal is to scare the crap out of any potential boys who might want to come over to my house. So I can always have a pair of boxing gloves in the back window of the car, or, a broken punching bag in the house, those kind of things, just to scare them off a little bit.
You want to come off like a fighter.
Yeah, I want to come off like, if they mess up, bad things might happen.
Well, what's your routine?
Usually I try to do like 20 minutes on the exercise bike. I try to do about 20 minutes lifting, weights.
Does a bike now, does that count as like cardio? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then I do 20 minutes on the punching bag.
So the bike, the weights, and then the heavy bag. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're kind of stopping in each station then, right? You're getting a little of this and a little of that.
I try to do, like when I do the weights, try to do all the different machines. I don't like to do the free weights as much because I've been stuck underneath them before. And so I do the machines because I know if something happens, I can just let go and nothing bad happens.
Do they have, this is going to seem like an odd question, do they have a scale or scales at your gym where you can step on them and weigh yourself? Is that something you do?
I usually don't pay attention to that.
Do you see them get used? Are people on them?
Oh, it's more like a contest with some folks to see who's doing better than other people, And
well, here's where I'm going with all this, and unfortunately for me, I don't spend a lot of time I don't spend any time in the gym. I don't spend a lot of time in the gym. I had heard somebody in the past couple of weeks, and it was not local. I don't even think the guy was from Tennessee. He may have been from out of state, but I don't remember where. And he was saying he's been going to this gym, and he was looking around for a scale. Couldn't find one. Asked an employee. They said, we don't have them here. We don't have a scale. Like, this is a gym. Why don't you have a scale? And he's like, well, we're concerned about people and body shaming.
At the gym?
At the gym.
Yeah.
Why do you think people are there? Maybe because they're already ashamed?
Could be. Some folks just get there for like the hookup. And some folks are there to get healthy. I like to be healthy. I've been through a series of illnesses and sicknesses, and I don't want to be stuck in a bed somewhere. So,
what do you mean with the hookup? Is that what you kids say for like meeting men and women?
Meeting men and women at the gym.
Okay.
And I don't know.
For romance and love texting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they can text "I love you" at 3:00 in the morning.
You got to tell them what they want to hear.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm getting the look now too.
Yeah. So let's catch up with one of our friends we talked about here in the recent past, Subway Jared. Yeah, things went south.
Things going south for Jared.
Fast for Jared. To catch everybody up, and I think I tried to be pretty kind to him when we talked about him before, because at that point he hadn't been accused of anything, and there was a part of me, there was a really optimistic side of me that thought maybe Jared could come away with it from the nope. It was worse than we all knew. So back in July, to catch everybody up, the FBI, Indiana State Police raided his home. Jared's got a home in Zionsville, Indiana. Now, if folks don't, I can't imagine nobody knows. Jared is the Subway spokesperson. He's the guy that ate Subway sandwiches supposedly and lost a lot of weight.
He made his career getting into a smaller pair of pants.
There you go, so to speak.
And ended it
He's made a prison career out of, yes. Computers, electronic equipment removed from Jared's home. And on that day, Subway announced, the day that they raided his home, the Subway cut sponsorship ties with Jared. Now, as we famously talked about,
yes,
what they did not do from the kids section of their Subway website, they did not remove the flash game, the Jared's Pants Dance.
Jared's Pants Dance.
And now, they have done that, but they only did that a couple of weeks ago. Whenever it was, the day or the day after he was convicted.
Yeah.
Jared's Pants Dance was available to play up until that very moment.
I still have the high score in my house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's going to be a forever record now, too, since the game's
gone now.
Yeah.
So Jared now has since he pleaded guilty. Guilty, one count of distributing, receiving child porn, one count traveling to engage in illicit conduct with minors. Prosecutors said that Fogel had offered adult prostitutes a finder's fee if they would bring him younger partners, and that he traded pictures and videos of nude children, some as young as 6 years old.
Gosh.
And they've wrapped, it's weird, not weird, but unusual. It seems to me they've wrapped this up pretty quick. This was just July that they raided his home, and he's pleaded guilty, and he's awaiting sentencing now, and he's agreed to pay restitution to the victims, $1.4 million. That's about $100,000 to each victim. It seems. Well, I mean, when you look at some of the local court cases and stuff, the Holly Bobo case. Of course, it's a murder case. Maybe that is a little different, but this just seems like this moved really fast. They raided his home. He's in court pleading guilty and awaiting sentencing.
Don't they? Some of those folks, don't they waive their right to a speedy trial to be able to get all their stuff together?
Yeah. Well, I mean, plead guilty. Plead guilty. He immediately entered into an agreement, which also tells you that whatever they had on him, whatever,
probably worse. Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't any way he was going to beat it. You know. So he had faced up to 50 years in prison if he'd gone to trial. So there's your motivation to start spin the wheel. Let's make a deal. As part of the deal that the prosecutors agreed to seek with him, he would get no more than 12 and a half years, and has agreed to a minimum sentence of 5 years. So he's getting somewhere between 5 and 12.
Yeah.
Sentencing scheduled for November, and Jared's wife now also says she's going to divorce him. So
I can't blame her there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, there's part of me that kind of feels bad for the guy. He's a total scumbag and he's a criminal, but still, it's like there's a part of me that just I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be sympathetic or empathetic, but when you see somebody just self-destruct like that, you know, I mean, it's not like he was Tom Cruise or Michael Jackson or something, not that level of celebrity, but still, you've made a pretty good, easy living, just being a spokesperson for a fast food chain, nice house, family, and all that, and you just throw it all away.
It just shows you, you know, when you get famous and all the stuff that comes at you, it would be hard for anybody to really keep a clean self through all that. I mean, you see all of them get into drugs and, you know, just different things, and I don't know. I feel bad for him because of the situation he's in and that he got himself there. And if he hadn't have got this level of celebrity, maybe he never would have got there. I don't know. Yeah,
that's true. I don't know. So, okay, in observance of Jared's entrance into prison, I wanted us to spend a little bit of time today talking about how to prepare for prison.
Oh,
yeah. Because you've done prison time before, right?
Oh, 20 years, hard time.
No, you haven't.
Actually, the closest I came, I won the Officer Friendly Safety Slogan Award in 3rd grade. And Officer Friendly would come to the school and pick you up in the squad car. So that was the first time I ever got to ride in the back of a cop car, and the last time. And then he would take you to the prison as kind of like a tour. And I got to stay in the cell for like 30 seconds. That's the only time I've ever been in a prison cell before.
And this was a reward? This was like a prize?
Then he took you out to lunch with the mayor and all this other stuff.
Oh, okay,
so
all right.
It was just part of it.
Oh, he was doing Scared Straight or something. Okay, so here we go. Jared's getting ready to get sentenced in November, so he's got time to prepare. So if he's listening, hopefully he'll take some notes here. First thing you need to do, be sure to take advantage of medical care outside of prison before you go in. Right? Now, see, these are things people don't think about.
I would have thought the opposite, because the medical care in prison would be free.
But quality.
Yeah, well.
The choice of quality of care is significantly better outside prison. Yeah. If you think about this, there are certain treatments that you take for granted that may not be available, and they won't be nearly as good. And if you're in prison and you don't like the prison dentist, where are you going to go? Right?
Right.
So anything you can do on the front end, see things. I'm throwing pearls here.
Yeah.
Throwing pearls here.
Keep this in my notebook.
Yes. Line up some reading material.
Yeah.
Have some stuff ready. Most prisons allow magazines and books. They can come from publishers, retailers like Amazon. Most. And if you're self-surrendering, if you're going to check yourself in and you know where you're going to be, consider taking out a bunch of magazine subscriptions. So it's got magazines coming, something to look forward to read, and leave a list with your family, a book list, so they can send you stuff from time to time. Learn the rules. Try to find out about it as much as possible about how the system works in the prison that you will be living in. And if there is an official rule book for the prison, read it. It'd be nice to have. I'd like to kind of...
Lots of free time. You could read the rule book a couple times over.
You can be punished for breaking a rule that you didn't know existed, right? That's ignorance of the prison law is no excuse. And breaking the rules only makes the personnel mad and the inmates, and it makes life harder for everybody. But one thread that I see running through all this is don't make things difficult. If you make things difficult for the staff, you make things difficult for the inmates.
Yeah, not going to be good.
People don't like people. It seems very I want to say strict. The code and the method, the way the culture is very rigid, and folks that make waves don't seem to do well with staff or inmates. It seems to be a group thing. Bring the maximum amount of money that you're allowed to take to prison. Let's see what you thought of that.
Well, I know they got that commissary thing there where you can get ramen noodles and stuff like that if you don't like the prison food.
Yeah. You may be allowed, depending on the prison, to take up to $500 that's used to buy supplies that you need. It's called putting money on the books. You put money on your books. You will need money for stamps, envelopes, snacks, hygiene stuff, toothpaste. They don't take cash, though. If you take cash, it'll be confiscated. And here's the other side of that. You should pretend like you don't have any money.
Right.
There's no danger of other prisoners trying to extort money from you if they don't think you have any money.
Getting beat up for your lunch money takes a whole new level in prison, I bet.
Yes. Shanked. Gretchen had not heard that. Nathan and I were, I don't know why, we were having dinner
Shanked.
conversation talking about folks getting shanked in prison, and she'd not heard. Do you feel confident now that you fully understand the concept of getting shanked?
Sure.
Okay.
I looked up the definition, and it doesn't say anything about the definition y'all have.
You got to look in the Urban Dictionary.
I was going to say, is that slang?
When you file your toothbrush down into a point or
Yeah.
stick
the razor blade into
big
the end
razor
of-
blades on a pencil or something.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that now that we're prepared, we're going into the joint, the hoosgow, the clink,
the pokey.
the pokey. We want to be ready to survive.
Uh-oh.
Now, here's how you survive prison. Here's rule number 1. Don't trust anyone.
Ooh.
Anyone. Now, that goes for guards, prison officials, the person in the cell next door. You even got to remember about the staff, man. They're not your friend, all right? If someone is being nice to you, the first question you should ask is, what's in it for
They
them?
want something. Yeah.
Yes. They almost always have a hidden motive. In prison, nothing is free. If somebody gives you or loans you something, you're going to have to pay it back at a hefty rate of interest, whatever that may be.
Right.
Or they could demand a favor that'll get you into trouble.
We don't want to do favors in prison.
Hiding contraband in your cell, having somebody sneak stuff in. Gretchen, my cellmate, wants you to sneak in some honey buns.
You better hope honey buns is all they want.
I listened to a guy, another podcast, a guy who'd done some jail time, not prison time, but he's done several stints at the Rutherford County Workhouse.
Ooh.
And he tells some stories about some fights going down over honey buns.
Wow.
And he says, it's not just that it's the honey bun. It's just like it's a, I forget how he describes it. It's a nice item or a big item, something like that they call. And he's like, it's about the principle. If somebody's trying to cheat you or short you on a nice item like a honey bun, he's like, in the outside world, you go, it's just a honey bun. Who cares? He's like, no, it's my honey bun. It's important in there. And he's
You
like,
want to eat your cornbread.
yeah.
Maybe I ought to eat your cornbread.
So you fight for your honey buns. Okay. Hide your emotions. If you want to look tough, don't try to look tough. And it's funny because it made me think about, you remember Stir Crazy with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
That's right. We bad. That's a movie.
What are you doing?
I'm getting bad. Bad, they don't mess with you. That's right, we bad, huh?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't believe everything you see in movies.
No, you should not walk into jail like Richard Pryor or Gene Wilder. If you want to look tough, don't show fear or anger or happiness or pain. Emotions are your worst enemy. They reveal your weaknesses. See, if somebody knows what makes you mad, you want to go in and look tough and hard and stuff, but if somebody can figure you out. I see manipulation as a common theme that runs through all this.
They got plenty of time to get things together and figure you out. And that's all I got is time to figure different things out to have fun,
So, stoicism, poker face.
I couldn't do that. I'd be the guy. Remember the Shawshank Redemption, the guy that was in there the first night who was like crying, and that'd be me.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
No, I'm not.
That's why I'm on the straight and narrow.
Yeah. Make use of your cellmates. Do not be overly friendly with your cellmates, but ask some questions. Many have been in prison before. They'll be able to give you information about the prison you're being sent to as well as the system. You'll have to judge for yourself whether to believe the information. That goes back to rule number 1. Don't trust anybody. But you can kind of mind your cellmate. I mean, proximity there. They presumably have some good information. Use common sense. Try to figure out if that person has a reason to lie or mislead you. However, again, in looking and researching some of this, one thing I'm seeing is not everybody always needs a reason. Again, there's the manipulation sometimes seems to be for sport.
Yeah, just kind of the only thing they got to do is to see what they can get away with.
Mm-hmm. Choose your words carefully. Now, you wouldn't think that would need to be said, but potentially anything you say, again, to prisoners or guards, no matter how innocent you think it is, can be used to hurt you, manipulate you, taken out of context. And avoid discussing dangerous topics. That can get you into trouble, and that's pretty much like it is in the rest of the world. Don't talk about religion. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about race.
Don't talk about football.
Yeah, right. If you got some Raiders fans in there.
Yeah.
You know there's some Raiders fans in
Got to
prison.
be some Raiders fans in prison, yeah.
Your own personal feelings about somebody or their family and friends. Just they say choose your words carefully. I say just keep your mouth shut. But
You don't know who's related either. If you start talking about somebody in prison, you be somebody's cousin's best friend's brother-in-law or something, and
yeah,
here you are talking about them, and you don't know.
Yep.
Same thing in the church, by the way.
Yep. I've had it happen. Always be polite and respectful to guards and other prison employees. If you give them a reason to hate you, they'll make your life harder than it is. And again, a common thread running through all this: the guards and prisoners. Same. It's the dynamic is almost the same. So don't give them the stick with which to beat you. You dig? Some employees are better than others, but don't ever forget whose side they're on. And it's not yours, even if they're good employees, nice employees.
I remember Cool Hand Luke. That's like my go-to prison movie, Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
Yes, boss. Yes, boss.
Yeah. Take my shirt off, boss. Take your shirt off, Luke. Get a drink of water, boss. Get a drink of water, Luke.
Any man allowed talking spends the night in a box.
Don't stare at the other prisoners. Don't stare.
Eye contact.
Don't have eye problems. Although you may be curious, the other person can completely misinterpret what's happening.
I guess that's why they don't have contacts in prison. Could you imagine getting your contact stuck and be like winking at somebody and not knowing it?
Yeah.
That could be bad.
And that's the thing. The dynamic is so volatile that it can be taken any way very quickly. You know, someone may see it as an advance or an overture. Someone may see it as an invitation to fight or an act. The same thing. You never know. This one's easy. Don't be a snitch.
Or don't let it be known you're a snitch. Snitch on the down low.
People who tell tales and fables to the guards are despised by everyone. Again, guards don't like that either, too. You know,
I guess the guards do more work if you had to go in there. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
And you're subject to physical attack. The best thing you can do in prison is to see everything, hear everything, and say nothing.
So I'm thinking you just need to go in there, curl up in a fetal position, and stay in the corner and rock for a couple of years.
See, that'd be showing weakness.
Well, they would know if you're just
that'd
crazy
be
or if
exploited.
you're actually got problems.
Don't ask the staff to solve your problems. You can get assistance with issues, or else you'll have problems with inmates if you do.
The guard is not Dr. Phil.
No.
Don't treat him that way.
And you can't trust him.
Yeah, and you can't trust him.
If you go to staff with a
I
problem,
don't trust Dr. Phil very much either, though. So,
here's the thing. Him and like Steve Harvey, because that's really all Dr. Phil is. He's kind of like a white Steve Harvey. Take their mustaches. If you cut their mustaches off, everybody will lose interest.
You think so?
Yep. Think about it.
Yeah.
If I shave off Steve Harvey's mustache, if I shave off Dr. Phil's
I'd
mustache,
just be a weird old bald guy giving out crazy advice.
you got it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you know who you scared is me. You scared me. I'm horrified. Stop this and stop it now.
So we better keep our mustaches. We're done.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I don't quite do what they do, I don't think. But anyway, if you go to staff with a problem, really the only thing that they can really do for you is put you in special housing.
Put you in
like
isolation.
Protective custody. Well, that's a different option, and that's one that just kind of is the cure worse than the problem.
I don't know. If I was in prison, I'd kind of want to be in isolation. I don't know if I want to be out there with everybody else.
Yeah, because secure housing is different from the whole. But the secure housing is for extreme circumstances. But you can go to the hole. But that's unpleasant because you're going to spend 99.9% of your time locked inside a cell. I guess it depends on the person. I'd probably be okay with that. I don't
Yeah.
know. Now, this one is going to seem a little odd because this probably goes counterintuitive to what you've seen on television and stuff. Don't join a prison gang. Yeah. Just like in the real world, in the prison, there are gangs, but in prison, gangs are more prevalent and they work differently. This is one thing I don't think people get. The gangs in the prison are different. They work differently than they do on the outside. Because if joining a gang members are soldiers. Gang leaders demand absolute loyalty, and if you join the gang, you're going to probably be ordered to do something that would very likely keep you in prison much longer.
Yes.
A gang member has no choice. So aside from getting out of prison, the only way you're going to quit a prison gang while you're there is dying. All right. Now, here's the next one. Now, these are not mine. These are suggested, and we're talking about prison survival. So everybody keep this in context. You don't want to join the prison gang. You do, however, want to show allegiance to your race. Crucial to your survival. Immediately show your allegiance to your race. Now, this does not mean that you have to join a gang to do it. All right. But if you're a 19-year-old suburbanite who just got a couple of years for trafficking pot, and you go in and start high-fiving people who are not your color, you're going to draw the attention of the other folks who are and who are in the gang. So you want to identify with folks that look like you, again, for your own survival and protection. Seek out people from your hometown. I kind of like this one. I was like, oh, that's nice. In most federal facilities, there are inmates from all over the country. You can do an inmate search prior to turning yourself in. You can look them up. And
Really?
say, oh, who's from my area?
Oh, I remember him. We went to high school together.
Yeah, there you go. You'll be able to look.
It's like a Facebook for ex-cons.
prison Facebook.
Yeah.
You're right. You'll be able to look through the listing to see if you know anybody or where their home state is, and they'll help you. You know, they should be able to help you if you need to know anything. The problem with that is depending on what kind of inmate you are. Yeah. If you're an informant, if you're a snitch, if you're a sex offender, like
if you're
Jared, child molester, in which case your homeboys will probably be the ones that they'll be the first ones to confront you on it. So that's, careful.
Yes.
Respect the personal space of other prisoners. Don't let them invade yours. Space, I get, again, it's very territorial. Everything's very territorial. We're going to fight over honey bun. You'll be tested if you allow others to get too close to you. They'll try to come. They'll
animalistic kind of, like down to the base stuff.
Yes. People are regressing. What's yours is so important, and you don't want to try to invade the space, but others will kind of come into yours and
they'll test your limits and boundaries.
Yes. And they will get closer and closer until subservience is obvious. Absolutely. And the last one, easy enough, get used to the new rules. Pretty much. I mean, you just know that you're going to have to adjust. It's a whole new way of life, and don't go in, trying to do things the same way. The normal rules outside world don't apply any longer. You're on a different planet. I had seen some other things in the past that weren't on this list it's funny how things stick with you. One of the things that I remember was when you go to the bathroom, when you go to sit down, you should either take your pants all the way off or take one leg all the way out of your pants. Can you get why that might be?
Guess you could run if you needed to.
Right. What if somebody comes at you?
While you're on the pot?
Hey, you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody going to try to shank you. What's the last thing you want to do? Be jumping up with your pants around your ankles? See? See? Throwing pearls today, man.
Yeah. I guess the first rule is like, don't do anything to make you have to go to prison would be like rule 1.
I didn't see that on my list.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, that knocks out the last 20 minutes or so. Okay. Well, what else? Anything else we need to touch on? You've been teaching in the schools.
Yeah.
You've been doing what Gretchen's been doing. Mm-hmm. Why don't you all trade some notes and share your experiences with me?
Doing a little substituting. I remember when I was a kid, when the substitute came in, I'd be like, yes, substitute. We're going to watch movies all day. And so, yeah, it's been kind of neat. I was at the high school for a couple of days, about a week, and, had some really good kids there. I worked in the special ed department. And, man, they're awesome kids, really awesome kids. Had a really great time with them. I would love to go back and do it some more sometime. So hopefully we'll get to do that.
But you will, right?
Yeah.
So you haven't mined Gretchen for information or advice? Or?
Well, I think the main thing when you're dealing with any kind of kid is you just got to be calm and then have a lot of patience. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're dealing with a 18-year-old or a 3-year-old. You got to have the same level of patience with both of them. So I think, with my own girls especially, it's helped me out with them a little bit too, because I've got helped me develop different ways to deal with them, if they're throwing a tantrum or whatever.
Yeah, I find it's easier to foster more patience with children for me when they actually shut up when I scream at them to shut up. So, but you're still, neither one of those is a regular gig. Like, could you go any day to either to sub or to go to the special ed program? Or
yeah, I mean, I'm a substitute for the whole school district, so I can go to any school or do any kind of program. The lady that's over the special ed program at Gibson County is one of my close friends, and she wanted me to come help her out, so I told her I would. And of course, I want to be involved with the art program at Rutherford when he's off there. So it's going to be a pretty good gig, I think.
All right. Good deal. You have anything to add? Gretchen's then given us a lot of looks and pointed and done all that. She just can't quite get
She's
this
not grasping
talking
radio
thing. You have to talk a little bit. She's a better singer than she is a talker.
We got to have like a different Gretchen looks on the site for different moments in the video pop up of Gretchen.
Yeah. So you can understand
what we're going through here.
What's actually happening. All right. Well, that would seem maybe a good place to wrap up for this week. Hopefully everything sounded a lot better. And it's going to continue to sound better because we're getting some more stuff. I've got some more microphones and some other things.
We're getting fancy.
Coming in. Well, we're just getting adequate. Oh. The sound quality's been so rough and inadequate that maybe now we're just kind of getting there. But I'm like that too, man. I listen to a lot of pods and stuff, and I don't care who it is or how good it is. I have a discerning ear, and if it's tough to listen to, I'm gone. I'm ejecting. Oh, speaking of, we're up to like 105 likes now.
Woo.
The begging and stuff,
the begging and pleading
paid off. Yeah, man.
Like number 100 was my cousin Colleen Ellis.
Colleen. Yes. So where is she?
She's in Texas right now.
Right.
My family is crazy. We're all over the place. Like Colleen's my cousin. I've never met her, except for when I was a little baby. I've got cousins all over the place that are like that. My mom's family just, when they got old, they moved off. So
we're talking about Colleen because she was our 100.
Right.
I don't know if we said that or not. So
Colleen is number 100.
Were we going to try to do anything nice for her? Nah.
Well.
Hey,
Colleen.
Hey. Thanks for liking.
She's wanting me to paint her a picture for her living room, so maybe I'll do that.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Do that for her. Do that for her. Okay. Well, thanks, Colleen. And for everybody else, look, here's the thing. Share, tell your friends about it, let everybody know what's going on, especially now that it's halfway listenable, and we'll have some more. Business will pick up, I think, a little bit in the next few months because we'll do some special stuff that I've already hinted at and talked about. And now that we've got spooktacular. Now that we've got some nicer stuff too, we can sit at the kitchen table, get some other folks in, and we'll this thing is just constantly evolving. It's a process. It's growing, and hopefully it'll just continue to morph into something even better than what it's already has been. It just started with total whimsy, man. Mm-hmm. Just kicking whimsy and crazy idea just to have a little fun and do something silly with our spare time. So hopefully it's been worth it. Bring somebody a few extra laughs or smiles. All right, well, we'll check out for right now. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for listening, for sharing. And until we see each other again, remember, sometimes in life, you got to tell them women what they want to hear. I'm Pastor Dave. Sitting at the table with me is Randall, the armor bearer, and
Gretchen.
And we are
They That Believe.
Gretchen needs a cool nickname.
Colleen?
Yes?
Is this Colleen?
Yes, it is.
Well, this is Dr. Phil. How are you doing?
It is not.
It is, too. I promise.
Wow, hello.